Welcome to Lost at 3 a.m. Put your phone down, close your eyes, and let this be the last video you hear tonight. Relax, breathe, and let's begin. What if everything you knew, your job, your friends, your entire world, wasn't real? What if you were trapped inside an illusion so perfect, so seamless, that you never even thought to question it? This is the question at the heart of The Matrix. Released in 1999, it was more than just a sci-fi action film. It was a challenge, an invitation to question everything. It took the idea of reality and turned it upside down, asking us, what if the world around us isn't real? What if we're asleep inside a system designed to keep us from ever waking up? But The Matrix is more than its story. It's a revolution in filmmaking, blending cyberpunk style, ancient philosophy, and cutting-edge technology into something unlike anything audiences had ever seen. It introduced us to bullet time, reality-bending martial arts, and the unforgettable choice between the red pill and the blue pill, a choice that would define the journey of one man, and maybe even the way we see our own world. At its core, The Matrix is a story of awakening, of one man discovering the truth, breaking free, and realizing his own power. It's a modern myth, a hero's journey in a digital age, wrapped in layers of philosophy and mind-bending action. Tonight, we dive deep into the world of The Matrix, its origins, its hidden meanings, and the way it changed movies, technology, and even the way we think about reality itself. So sit back, relax, and let yourself fall into the world of The Matrix. Because, like Morpheus once said, you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Before The Matrix became one of the most iconic sci-fi films of all time, it started as a bold, nearly impossible idea. A vision so complex, so ahead of its time, that Hollywood didn't know what to do with it. And at the center of it all were two filmmakers, Lana and Lily Wachowski, who refused to compromise their dream. The Wachowskis weren't interested in making just another action movie. They wanted to tell a story about reality itself, a film that combined philosophy, technology, martial arts, and a deep existential question. What if the world we live in is a lie? The idea for The Matrix was influenced by everything from cyberpunk literature to ancient philosophy. The Wachowskis pulled from sources like William Gibson's Neuromancer, the anime Ghost in the Shell, and the works of philosophers like Plato, Descartes, and Baudrillard, all of whom explored the idea that reality might not be what we think it is. But the real challenge wasn't writing the story, it was getting Hollywood to believe in it. When the Wachowskis first pitched The Matrix, studio executives were confused. The concept was too abstract, too ambitious, and no one could visualize what the film would actually look like. So the Wachowskis did something no one expected. They created a 600-page comic book storyboard, working with legendary comic artists Jeff Darrow and Steve Scroce to illustrate every major scene. This wasn't just a script, it was a fully realized vision of the movie. From the green-tinted code of The Matrix to the high-speed, slow-motion action sequences that had never been attempted before. Even then, the studio was hesitant. They agreed to fund the movie, but only with a small budget of $10 million. That wasn't nearly enough. So the Wachowskis made a bold move. They took the entire budget and spent it all on just one scene. The opening sequence with Trinity escaping from the agents, the slow-motion kicks, the impossible jumps, the bullet time effects. Everything that made The Matrix revolutionary was packed into that first sequence. And when they showed it to the studio, the response was immediate. How much do you need to make the whole movie? With a full budget of $60 million, The Matrix was finally greenlit. But making it wouldn't be easy. The Wachowskis pushed the cast and crew to their absolute limits, training the actors in martial arts for months, using technology that had never been tested before, and creating a world that felt as real as the illusion it portrayed. What started as a nearly impossible dream had now become one of the most groundbreaking films in history. And with the vision in place, it was time to introduce the world to Neo, the man who would wake up. Some moments in film are so powerful that they become bigger than the movie itself. They take on a life of their own, becoming symbols, ideas, questions that people carry with them long after the credits roll. And few moments are as unforgettable as the red pill and the blue pill. When Neo meets Morpheus for the first time, he's offered a choice. In one hand, the blue pill, a promise of comfort, of waking up in his bed and believing whatever he wants to believe. In the other, the red pill, an invitation to see reality for what it truly is, no matter how painful or terrifying that truth might be. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. It's one of the most famous choices in movie history, but what does it really mean? At its core, the red pill is about freedom, but not the easy kind. It's about stepping away from comfort, from illusion, from a world designed to keep you complacent and unquestioning. To take the red pill is to reject the lie, even if that means embracing hardship. The blue pill, on the other hand, represents willful ignorance. It's the desire to stay asleep, to keep believing in a reality that feels safe and familiar, even if it's not real. It's the comfort of not asking questions, of accepting the world exactly as it is, even if deep down you suspect something isn't right. But here's the twist. Neo already made his choice before Morpheus even offered it. He had spent his entire life searching, feeling that something was wrong with the world. He didn't know what, but he felt it, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. The fact that he had even found Morpheus, that he was sitting in that chair at all, meant he was never going to take the blue pill. And once he took the red pill, everything changed. Reality shattered, the illusion faded, and for the first time, Neo woke up. But this wasn't just a moment in a movie. The Matrix turned the red pill and blue pill into a metaphor for real life. It became a symbol for questioning everything, from society to politics to technology. It made people wonder, am I really seeing the world as it is? Or am I only seeing what I've been told to believe? That's the power of the Matrix. It isn't just a story, it's a challenge. Because once you've seen the truth, once you've taken the red pill, you can never go back. Before he was Neo, before he was the one, he was just Thomas Anderson, a man living two lives. By day, he was an average computer programmer, trapped in a dull office job. By night, he was Neo, a skilled hacker searching for answers, drawn to something he couldn't explain. You know something. What you know, you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. Neo wasn't special, at least not yet. He was lost, confused, searching for something without even knowing what he was looking for. He had a feeling that the world wasn't what it seemed, that something wasn't quite right, but he had no proof. And then he met Morpheus. From the moment Neo took the red pill, his life changed forever. He woke up outside of the Matrix, discovering that everything he had ever known was an illusion. The real world was nothing like he had imagined. It was cold, dark, and ruled by machines that used humans as batteries. But even after waking up, Neo wasn't the one yet. He didn't believe it. He wasn't ready to accept that he could be more than just a man. Morpheus believed in him. Trinity believed in him. But Neo? He doubted. When he first trained in the construct, learning that he could bend the rules of the Matrix, he hesitated. When he first fought Agent Smith, he ran. When the Oracle told him he wasn't the one, he accepted it. Because deep down, he was still just Thomas Anderson, the man, not the savior. But then, something changed. He started to see the truth, not just with his eyes, but with his mind. He started to understand that the Matrix had rules, but rules could be broken, that limits only existed if he believed in them. And then, in that final moment, when Agent Smith killed him, Neo finally let go. He stopped running. He stopped doubting. And for the first time, he saw the Matrix for what it truly was. Just lines of code, something he could manipulate, something he could control. Bullets, they were nothing. Gravity, just another rule to ignore. the agents no longer a threat. In that moment, Neo became the one. His journey wasn't about gaining power, it was about believing in himself, about waking up, not just from the Matrix, but from the idea that he was just another ordinary person. Because that's the real message of the Matrix. The only thing holding you back is the belief that you're not capable of more. When The Matrix hit theaters in 1999, it wasn't just another sci-fi movie, it was a revolution in filmmaking. The way it looked, the way it moved, the way it made audiences question reality, it had never been done before. And at the center of it all was bullet time. Before The Matrix, action scenes followed the same basic formula: fast cuts, shaky cameras, and quick edits to make fights look intense. But the Wachowskis wanted something different. They wanted to show action in a way the human eye had never seen before. The idea was simple. What if we could see time slow down, see bullets ripple through the air, see a single moment stretched into eternity? To make this happen, the filmmakers invented bullet time, a groundbreaking visual effect that used hundreds of cameras arranged in a circle, all capturing the same moment from different angles. When stitched together, these shots created a surreal, slow-motion effect where time seemed to freeze, but the camera kept moving. The first time audiences saw Neo dodge bullets, bending backwards in slow motion as ripples followed the path of the gunfire, they had never seen anything like it before. It was mesmerizing, it was revolutionary, and it changed action movies forever. After The Matrix, Hollywood couldn't get enough of bullet time. Every action movie, every video game, every commercial wanted to use it. Even movies outside of sci-fi, like Shrek, started parodying it. Suddenly, everyone wanted their own Matrix-style slow-motion moment. But The Matrix didn't just change visual effects, it redefined choreography and stunt work. Most Hollywood action movies relied on stunt doubles, using quick cuts to hide the fact that the actors weren't doing their own fight scenes. But The Matrix was different. The Wachowskis wanted their actors to actually fight, to perform the moves themselves, so the audience could feel every punch, every kick, every impossible leap. To make this happen, Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Hugo Weaving trained in martial arts for months before filming. They didn't just learn fight choreography, they studied real kung fu, wire fu techniques, and weapons training. The result? Fight scenes that felt fluid, realistic, and completely different from anything in Western cinema at the time. From Neo versus Morpheus in the dojo to the legendary lobby shootout, The Matrix raised the bar for action filmmaking. It blended the philosophy and elegance of Eastern martial arts with the intensity and spectacle of Hollywood blockbusters, and it worked. But the real magic of The Matrix wasn't just in its special effects, it was in how those effects served the story. Bullet time wasn't just cool, it was a visual metaphor for Neo's awakening. When he dodges bullets, when he fights the agents, when he finally sees the Matrix for what it is, it's not just action, it's a moment of realization. A moment where he starts breaking the rules of reality itself. That's why The Matrix still holds up today. It wasn't just about looking cool, it was about showing an idea in a way no one had ever seen before. And in doing so, it redefined an entire generation of cinema. Every great hero needs a great villain, and in The Matrix, there is no villain more chilling, more relentless, or more unforgettable than Agent Smith. From the moment he steps on screen, he's different. He isn't like the other agents. He doesn't just follow orders. He hates the Matrix just as much as Neo does, but for completely different reasons. To everyone trapped inside the Matrix, he looks like just another government agent, a faceless enforcer keeping things in order. But in reality, he is something far worse, an artificial intelligence, a program designed to hunt down and destroy anyone who dares to wake up from the illusion. Unlike Neo, Smith doesn't question his existence. He doesn't search for meaning. He believes in control, in absolute order, in keeping humanity caged forever. But underneath that calm, emotionless exterior, something else is brewing. Smith is different from the other agents, where they see their job as a simple function, a piece of code running in a system. Smith hates the Matrix. He describes humans as a virus, an infection that spreads across the planet, consuming everything in its path. I hate this place, this zoo, this prison, this reality. I must get out of here. That's what makes him terrifying. He isn't just trying to stop Neo, he's trying to escape. He doesn't just follow the system, he wants to break it, to be free from it. In many ways, Agent Smith is the opposite of Neo. Neo is trying to wake up from the illusion, to free humanity from control. Smith is trying to escape the illusion by crushing everyone who threatens it. And as the story unfolds, he becomes more than just a villain. He becomes something else entirely. When Neo destroys him at the end of The Matrix, something unexpected happens. Instead of disappearing forever, Smith returns, but different, changed, corrupted. In The Matrix Reloaded, he is no longer just an agent of the system. He is a rogue program, out of control, growing stronger, spreading like a virus, infecting everything he touches. By The Matrix Revolutions, he has become the very thing he once hated. Something unnatural, something beyond the system's control. And that's what makes his final showdown with Neo so powerful. They are two sides of the same coin, both seeking freedom, but in completely different ways. Smith believes in total destruction. Neo believes in choice. In the end, it's not about power or strength or who can punch the hardest. It's about Neo understanding the truth, that to defeat Smith, he must surrender to the system, become part of it, and break the cycle from within. That's why The Matrix works. It doesn't just have a villain, it has a mirror image of the hero, a character who represents everything Neo could become if he chose the wrong path. And that's why Agent Smith isn't just another antagonist. He is one of the most chilling, thought-provoking, and iconic villains in sci-fi history. At first glance, The Matrix might seem like just another sci-fi action film, filled with slow-motion gunfights, gravity-defying stunts, and a battle between man and machine. But beneath the surface, it is something far more profound. A movie built on deep philosophical ideas that have been debated for centuries. At its core, The Matrix asks one question: what is reality? This idea isn't new. It has been explored in ancient philosophy, modern science, and even conspiracy theories. The Wachowskis didn't just create a cyberpunk thriller. They built a film that was deeply inspired by some of the greatest philosophical minds in history. One of the most famous influences is Plato's allegory of the cave. Plato imagined a group of people who had been chained inside a dark cave their entire lives, only able to see shadows on the wall. To them, that was reality. They had no idea that outside the cave, a real world existed, full of light, color, and truth. This is exactly what The Matrix explores. The people trapped inside the simulation have no idea that their world is a false illusion, created to keep them from seeing the truth. Then there's Descartes' philosophy of doubt, the idea that we can never truly trust our senses because they might be deceiving us. Descartes famously asked, "What if everything I experience is just an illusion? What if some powerful force is tricking me into believing in a world that isn't real?" Sound familiar? That's The Matrix. And then there's Jean Baudrillard's theory of simulacra and simulation, which argues that in the modern world, reality has been replaced by a series of illusions, images, and symbols that no longer have any real meaning. This book was such a major influence on The Matrix that Morpheus literally hides Neo's hacking software inside a copy of it. But The Matrix isn't just about the nature of reality. It's also about control. Who decides what is real? Who decides what people believe? And more importantly, what happens when someone breaks free from that control? This is why the red pill and blue pill moment is so powerful. It isn't just about waking up from the Matrix. It's about the choice between accepting the world as it is or daring to question everything you've ever known. This idea goes beyond philosophy. It's political, social, and even personal. The Matrix became a symbol for questioning authority, systems of power, and the structures that shape our lives. Are we really making our own choices? Or are we just following a script? Are we free? Or are we just comfortable? And if we found out the truth, would we really want to wake up? After the mind-bending success of The Matrix, fans were left with one burning question. What happens next? In The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, the story expanded far beyond the simulation, revealing the last human city of Zion, the war against the machines, and the deeper layers of fate, control, and resistance. For the first time, we saw the real world beyond the Matrix, not just through the eyes of Neo, but through the thousands of people who had already escaped, the last survivors of humanity, hidden deep underground in a city on the brink of war. But here's where things get complicated. In The Matrix Reloaded, Neo discovers that his story isn't unique. He isn't the first one. He is simply the latest in a cycle that has repeated many times before. The architect, the cold and calculating mind behind the Matrix, reveals that Neo was never meant to destroy the system. He was part of it all along. Every time humanity resisted, the Matrix adapted, creating a new one to give them hope, before ultimately leading them right back to the beginning. Suddenly, the fight for freedom wasn't as simple as man versus machine. The Matrix had planned for rebellion, built it into the system, and tricked humanity into believing they had a choice. But Neo was different. Instead of following the cycle, instead of accepting the path that had been laid out for him, he did something no other one had done before. He chose love over duty. He refused to let Zion be destroyed, refused to abandon Trinity, and for the first time, the system was broken. And in the Matrix Revolutions, the war between humans and machines reached its climax. Zion faced total destruction as the Sentinels swarmed the city, while Neo entered the machine city itself, not to destroy it, but to make a deal, because now there was a new enemy. Agent Smith had become something beyond the control of even the machines. He was a virus, spreading across both the Matrix and the real world. He wasn't just a program anymore. He was destruction itself. And so, Neo made the ultimate sacrifice. He gave himself up, allowing Smith to consume him. But in doing so, he let the system delete Smith from within, ending the cycle once and for all. With Smith gone, the war ended. The machines withdrew from Zion. The Matrix was rebooted, this time allowing those who wanted to leave to truly be free. It was an ending that left fans divided. Some loved it, others were confused, and many weren't sure if Neo was truly dead. But one thing was clear. The Matrix had never been about easy answers. It had always been about choice, fate, and the never-ending struggle for freedom. For nearly 2 decades, the Matrix trilogy stood as a complete story, an ending that left audiences with more questions than answers, a cycle that had seemingly been broken. Neo had sacrificed himself, Zion had survived, and the Matrix had been rebooted with the promise of a new beginning. So when The Matrix Resurrections was announced, fans had one question: why? Unlike other sequels that continue where the story left off, Resurrections did something unexpected. It challenged its own existence. Instead of simply bringing back Neo and Trinity as the same heroes from before, the film placed them inside a new version of the Matrix, one where Neo was no longer a savior, but just a man named Thomas Anderson, lost inside a simulation designed to keep him from remembering who he truly was. But the real twist? This time, the Matrix wasn't built on control through fear. It was built on comfort, nostalgia, and emotional manipulation. People weren't being held inside by force. They were choosing to stay, because leaving meant losing the world they had come to accept. And at the heart of it all was a new villain, the Analyst. Unlike the cold, logical architect from Reloaded, the Analyst understood that humans weren't just driven by logic. They were driven by feelings, love, regret, hope, and fear. Nothing comforts anxiety like a little nostalgia. For some, The Matrix Resurrections was a bold and unexpected commentary on modern technology, corporate control, and the way media traps people inside cycles of nostalgia. For others, it was a film that never needed to exist, a story that didn't recapture the magic of the original trilogy. But whether you loved it or hated it, one thing was clear: The Matrix still had something to say. Even in a world that had changed so much since 1999, the film's core message remained the same: question everything. Because whether the prison is built from fear, from control, or from nostalgia itself, the only way to be truly free is to wake up. More than 2 decades after its release, The Matrix remains one of the most influential films in history. It wasn't just a movie, it was a shift in thinking, a challenge to everything we assume about the world around us. It didn't just change the way films were made, it changed the way people thought. At its core, The Matrix is about a question: what if everything you know, everything you trust, isn't real? What if there's something bigger happening beneath the surface? Something designed to keep you from ever realizing the truth? That question doesn't belong to the movie, it belongs to all of us. When The Matrix was first released, the world was on the edge of a digital revolution. The internet was still young, and no one could predict how much of our lives would become dependent on it. People weren't yet glued to screens, scrolling through endless distractions, living in a space that wasn't entirely physical. But now, the world of The Matrix feels more real than ever. Algorithms shape what we see, what we buy, what we believe. We spend hours plugged into digital landscapes, losing ourselves in systems that are invisible, but always watching. That's why The Matrix still resonates. It's not just a sci-fi movie with cool action scenes and futuristic technology. It's a warning, a mirror reflecting a world that we've slowly stepped into without even realizing it. And the scariest part, no one forced us into it. We chose it. The influence of The Matrix is everywhere. It changed the way films are made, pushing visual effects to new levels and redefining action choreography forever. It shaped video games, music, fashion, and philosophy. It became part of pop culture, not just as entertainment, but as an idea, one that people still use to explain the feeling of waking up to uncomfortable truths. Even today, the phrase "taking the red pill" has taken on a life of its own, used by people seeking to define their own moment of realization, whether that's stepping away from mainstream narratives, questioning authority, or seeing the world differently than they did before. But that's the thing about The Matrix. It never tells you what to believe. It doesn't give you the answers, it only hands you the choice. You can take the blue pill and accept the world as it is, never questioning, never digging deeper. Or you can take the red pill and step into the unknown, waking up to a reality that may be harder, more painful, but undeniably real. That's why The Matrix still matters. It isn't just a film, it's an invitation, a challenge, a puzzle that never truly gets solved. Because once you start questioning, once you start looking for the cracks in the system, you can never go back to how things were before. And so, as you drift off tonight, let yourself wonder how much of what we see, what we hear, what we believe is real, or are we all still inside the Matrix waiting to wake up? Thank you for spending your night with Lost at 3 a.m. Sweet dreams, and we'll see you next time.